Hey there, welcome to my YouTube video blog. This is Memory Magic, how to remember people's first names. One thing I've become famous for now is memorizing people's names, first and last names. Not just in a small group of a few people, but hundreds of people. That's right, oftentimes when I do a magic show or hypnosis show or motivational speaking program, doesn't matter, I meet as many people as I can before the program. I commit to memory their first and last name in many cases, and have everybody in the room stand up before my presentation begins and call them out, first and last name. Have them all sit down one at a time through the room until I get everybody's name in the room. It blows people away. This is a huge way to connect with people. People love to hear their own first name. So how do I do it? Now, if you've been to my speaking program on learning people's names, then you already have some idea of what I'm about to tell you. But I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to share with you some more examples of how it is I remember some of these people's names. So here's our first lesson. Let's start by watching this in action. This is a smaller group of about 20. I'll excuse you at this point, and you can be seated. And let's see, over here we have, this is Barbara Shannon Bannister, and let's see, over here we've got Diana Payne, of course my good friend Jeannie Davis here, and let's see, I didn't meet you but I got it off your name tag, so you can go ahead and sit down once I call you there. There you go, perfect, and let's see, I didn't meet you but I got it off your name tag, let's see, you are Chuck Cross, and let's see, this is John Song, we've got, let's see, this is Brian Evans. And let's see, of course, we've got Luke here, who's being held by, let's see, this is Grant Barrett. And let's see, over here we've got Tom Moore. And over here we've got a Barbara Peck. And let's see, coming this way we've got Diana Burridge, is that correct? Okay, and this side is Gary, this is Gary Johnson. And let's see, correct? Okay, you can have a seat there. He just looked like he was going to be stubborn there for a second. And I'm going to jump to the back.
He forgot who he was.
Tom Aston, I met on my way in here, and let's see, we've got Bob Barquet, is that correct? All right, you could be seated there. And coming this way, we have Linda Cross. And
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry, okay, Lisa Cross. And you can have a seat there, excellent. And let's see, we've got, we've got Craig Caldwell, and we've got Richard Blanchard, we've got, let's see, Dan Davis, we've got, let's see, this is Larry Alloway. Larry Alloway, and let's see, and that's everybody, right? That's everybody. That's everybody. Oh! Donna, boy, Ampo Odawia.
Okay.
Close enough? Well, just in case you're wondering, the last guy was from Africa. He was, in fact, in full African garb, and his name was quite a tongue twister. And unfortunately, he was out of range of both cameras that I had set up, so you couldn't quite see what was going on back there. But you kind of get the gist of it. His name was very difficult and made for great humor. And by the way, yes, I missed Lisa's name. I just got sloppy. I knew what it was, and I accidentally called her Linda. And they corrected me before I had a chance to do it myself. So, how do I do it? Well, it's simple. Picture association. When I look at somebody's face, I've got to remember some kind of quality or characteristic about their face that will help me associate to what their name is. Whether I'm doing first names or first and last names, doesn't matter. Let's just start with first. So you've got to make some kind of association with that person's name and somehow remember it. Sometimes it takes some creativity. Sometimes I look at their outfit or their accessories and I'll pick up on something like that. Now let's face it, not everybody dresses like Clark Kent at work, so sometimes you're going to have to be really creative. Take the time I met a gal named Sally. Now when I heard her first name, the first thing that popped into my mind, and that's usually the best, is to go with the first thing that pops into your mind, was the female astronaut, our first American female in space, Sally Ride. As soon as I had that picture image, I had to figure out how it was I could remember it. As I glanced at her, I noticed she was wearing a pendant around her neck that looked a little bit like a crescent moon. So in my mind's eye, I said, okay, that's a moon. Her name is Sally. She's Sally Ride. She was the first female astronaut to ride on the space shuttle, etc. So once you've made that connection, then you just need to practice it a few times. Reinforce it in your head over and over before you go on to the next person, and you'll have it down in no time. Now, they're not going to be all quite that easy. Recently, I met a guy named Bob, for instance. Now, when I met Bob, he walked in the door and he was wearing a winter vest, a lot like this one. He took it off and he put it on the back of his chair, but I could still picture him wearing it and I could see it on the back of his chair. So I pictured in my mind that this was actually a life preserver, like a life vest he was wearing, and he was bobbing up and down in the ocean. Again, with a little repetition, it'll stick. So what if you can't find anything physically about this person that makes them stand out to you? Well, another thing I do is I create a story. For instance, recently I met a guy named Joel. So the first thing that popped into my head was Billy Joel. Now you have to be careful because of course you could confuse his name for Billy, but with a little bit of practice you'll be able to do that. In fact, every time I meet someone named Joel now, I think of Billy Joel, so I know it's not Billy. So, moving along, I'm trying to look at the guy and thinking about something, but I can't find anything. He's wearing an off-white shirt with a pair of nice business slacks. He doesn't have any glasses on, any jewelry, nothing that I can pick up on. So I made up a story about the guy, an absurd story about how he was Billy Joel early in his career and how he was playing piano at a country club, and some very pompous woman came up and started giving him grief for wearing an off-white shirt. She was throwing an absolute fit that how dare her piano player at her country club be wearing an off-white shirt. She was so appalled. It's an absurd story, but it stuck.